Module 2, Solomon, the Split, and the Northern Kingdom of Israel. So let's review real quick in Module 1, look back at what we covered as we go into Module 2. So we looked at three main individuals in Module 1. We looked at Samuel, we looked at Saul, and we looked at David. So what did we talk about? Let's look at some of the highlights from the first module. We covered the 12 major events. We went over them, and we'll go over them again right now because they're so important. But the 12 major events of the nation of Israel, we reviewed those. We took a look at Samuel, his life. He was the last judge, and he was the first prophet of the nation of Israel. And he was also the transition from the time of the judges to the time of the kings, the united monarchy of Israel. We looked at how the people had actually rejected God as God had spoken to Samuel, and in choosing a king, they had rejected him, but they chose King Saul, so Saul became the first king of Israel. He was followed after by David, who is known as the greatest king of Israel. And we also took a look at the Davidic covenant, the third of our four covenants that we're going to cover in this course, because the Davidic covenant is important because the Davidic covenant revealed through the prophet Nathan that there was going to be a kingdom that would not end, and it would go through the line of David. So we will see how the Davidic covenant actually is going to end up connecting David to the Messiah, to the coming of Jesus of Nazareth. But let's review the 12 major events of the nation of Israel real quick as we get into Module 2. So the first event that really started off the nation of Israel was the call of Abraham. And the event that followed that got it really moving was the miracle child, the birth of Isaac. So event 3 is Joseph in Egypt. Number 4 is the Exodus. Event number 5 is after the Exodus and at Sinai. This is where Moses gets the law. And then we have number 6, which was the conquest of Joshua, where Joshua actually had acquired the land that God had promised to Abraham 400 years beforehand. So these first 6 events we covered in part 1 of this course. And so part 2, we're going to actually go through the next 6. So number 7 is the kings of Israel, which we looked at and we're going to continue to look at. Then the kingdom splits, that's number 8, and that is followed by the Assyrian dispersion, and that is of the north, of northern Israel. That is followed by number 10, the Babylonian captivity, and then, which we're going to look at in this unit, or in this module. Then we have the return to the land, and that, of course, is the event that precedes the kind of the culmination of everything, which is the Messiah arrives, the arrival of Jesus of Nazareth. So where are we going now? So now what we're going to do in Module 2 is we're going to look at Solomon. We're going to look at the split, where the nation of Israel splits, and then we're going to take a look at the northern kingdom of Israel. So as we do that, in our next unit, we're going to start with the third of our 3 kings of the united monarchy, and that is Solomon, the builder of the temple.